जय बाबा।
जय बाबा। We just sing one Qawwali which Baba loved very much, and Baba had a record that Mani and Mera would very often play at Mehrazad of this particular Qawwali. It says, "Khudi ko mitakar khuda chahta hu." See the play of words. Khudi is I, ego, and Khuda is God. I want to eliminate my ego and find God. Don't ask me what do I want. I want to be punished for my deeds. I want to see the unseen. In destroying myself, I want to see your grace. O the creator of universe, you can change the entire cycle, for you can also change the destiny of mankind, for in your hands is the dice of destiny. Just with your one nazar, you can change the entire universe. Oh beloved, look at me too, for I yearn to be one with you. Don't hide behind a curtain, but reveal your glory. Let the veil of difference between you and me be removed, and please fulfill my longing to have your darshan. Please lift the veil, O beloved Baba, so that I can have just a glimpse of your real self.
खुदी को मिटा कर खुदा चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर खुदा चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ। न पूछो ये मुझसे कि क्या चाहता हूँ, मैं अपने किए की सजा चाहता हूँ। निहा को आया देख नाए चाहता हूँ। फना हो के ईद पे बका चाहता हूँ। हाँ हाँ, खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ। मुरक्का जहाँ का बदल देने वाले, जीविका नविष्टा बदल देने वाले, मुकद्दर का पास आए बदल देने वाले, नजर से जमाना बदल देने वाले। हाँ हाँ, इधर देख मैं कुछ बना चाहता हूँ आहवा। इधर देख मैं कुछ बना चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ। न चुप जाके पर्दे में जलवा दिखा दे, भिजा दे दुई दरनी या से उठा दे। मेरी हसरतें सीध अब तो मिटा दे। जरा अपने चेहरे से हे पर्दा उठा दे। हाँ हाँ, इधर देख मैं कुछ बना चाहता हूँ आहवा। तुझे एक नजर देखना चाहता हूँ आहवा। तुझे एक नजर मेहर बाबा सैया, तुझे एक नजर देखना चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ आहवा। खुदी को मिटा कर मैं खुदा चाहता हूँ। जय बाबा। जय बाबा।
So the talk is supposed to be on obedience. It's a difficult subject. Actually, when Baba gives an order, personally or in general, it serves many purposes. It is an opportunity for his lovers to give him what he asks of you, to do what he wants you to do, or not do what he wants not want you to do. Pleasing him is the highest way of expressing our love for Baba. And when Baba gives an order or lets us know what he wants or what he does not want us to do, it is to protect us from the consequences of our actions and save us from added suffering which he knows would follow. So it is because of his love for his lovers that he tells us, don't do this or don't do that. You see, some people who have met Rustam and me and say that I have broken Baba's orders. Will Baba love me as much? Even if you break Baba's orders, Baba's love for you does not decrease. Like when Baba gives an order, it is for the benefit of his lovers because he knows there is suffering to follow. And because of his love, because of his grace for us, he wants to eliminate those sufferings and he gives us an order. So if you break an order, Baba being God in human form, Baba being God, his love does not decrease in any way. It remains the same. In fact, Baba says that I love you more than you can love your own self. And but then, if you break an order, you have to go through the suffering. So it's best that we don't break an order. To be obedient to him is the highest form of love. And if we say that we love him even this much, we have to obey him. I mean, like the story that we told you last time on Friday or Thursday, about Baba asking Rustam to go to Bombay to work when he was working in the ammunition factory in Pune. He said, yes, Rustam should leave Pune and go and work in Bombay. So at that time, we were all surprised that how Baba has said that he should leave Pune, be away from Surat and go to Bombay and work. But his order was obeyed. And then within a few days, there was a big explosion. And in the department where he was working, a few people died. So Baba knew in advance. At that time, we cannot understand Baba's language, why he has given this order. As Hafiz says, befitting a fortunate slave to carry out the command of the master without any question of why and what. When we know it's a Baba's order, we should not reason it out in any way. Not let our mind think or reason. The Baba has said, let your life itself be an order. But whatever orders we are fortunate that Baba has directly given us, at least let us obey that 100%. We have to obey.
Baba has very clearly specified some do's and don'ts. We have to follow that to please Baba. Nothing else but to please Baba and no reasoning.
And we as Baba lovers, we love Baba so much that our first duty is to please him under any circumstances. We have to please him first. Baba says, you give me this much and I give you that much. So let us at least give him this much. For what he's given us, he's already given us that much.
And I'll give you an example of obedience. I remember a story. In Mehrabad, once there were a group of people, Baba was giving darshan. I don't remember the year. But in that group of people that were in front of Baba, there was a very intellectual man sitting there, highly qualified, very educated. And Baba asked him to get up. So he got up. He was a Baba lover. And Baba asked him to sing a song. And he says, Baba, Baba, I don't have a good voice, Baba. You see,
I'm not a singer, Baba.
I'm not a singer, Baba. I can't sing, you know. Baba, sit down. Then he asked Aloba, Baidul, get up. Now Baidul did not know a word of English. And he told Baidul to talk about Meher Baba to the people sitting in front, in English. And Baidul did not know a word of English, just a few words. Baba, God, I. Baba, God, I. Baba, God, I. Baba said, sit down. And then he told him, this is obedience.
This is obedience. Another story that I remember is when Mani told me the story. When Vishnu Master died in Guru Prasad, he died of a heart attack. He was laughing very heartily and he had a heart attack and died. On the corridor of Guru Prasad, there was a couch which was also served as an office for Neeraj. He was laid on the couch. Baba was in his bedroom. And Baba was informed that Vishnu Master has died. Baba came from his bedroom straight away, walked to the corridor. Mani followed Baba. Baba sat on the couch, took Vishnu Master's head and put it on his lap. And Mani said, I shouted out to Vishnu. When Baba put his head on his lap, he was dead. Vishnu, Baba has come, Baba has come. And Mani says, for a second he opened his eyes and closed his eyes.
Obedience.
That even in death, and there are some, Baba's friend, Dr. Ghani, who was his Mandi, very close Mandi. Baba's very close friend, he became Baba's lover, he recognized Baba as God. He used to smoke a lot. Some of you may know the story. Baba ordered him, Ghani, not more than 3 cigarettes a day.
2 cups of
And 2 cups of tea. He used to drink a lot of tea. So one day when Baba was taking walk in the evening near his tent, he saw still a lot of smoke coming out. And Baba opened the tent and saw. And Dr. Ghani had made a cigarette that long. And next to him were cups that big. Baba said, what are you doing? Baba, you never specified the size of the cigarette or the size of the cup. Baba said, normal cigarettes and normal tea. So, from that day, he started smoking normal cigarettes. Another funny story about Ghani. Another funny story about Dr. Ghani is that there was a lunch party and Ghani was sitting just next to Baba. And Baba, when there were lunch parties or dinner parties, Baba would emphasize that everybody should eat their fill, have a good time, eat as much as they can. And somehow or the other, poor Ghani was not hungry at all. Didn't feel like eating. So Baba would tell him, daba ke khao. The expression in Hindi, daba ke khao, means pressing. Eat, press your stomach, eat. And Ghani is looking at Baba and he's not feeling hungry. But Baba's ordered, daba ke khao. So he used to press the food in his plate. And then take a little and eat. That's also
There's another story in New Life. When Baba would walk for miles and miles, he would lead and all the Mandali would follow him. And they would walk for miles. And Dr. Ghani, he couldn't walk, So he had to take the help of a walking stick. But since Baba had asked him to walk, he would walk. And then he would stagger behind and then Baba would turn back and see. He would walk back to Ghani, catch hold of his stick and then drag him along with him.
And once we obey Baba 100%, at least for what orders he has laid down, and it's not possible to obey him 100%, but let us very honestly and sincerely put in all our efforts and try and be obedient to him. Because Baba has given us so much. He's given us love. And at least we should give him back something that he wants. Let us not reason why, what. Just love him and obey him. That is the greatest thing that we can do for him.
We have to obey Baba 100%. There is no doubt about it. Whatever he has said has to be followed without any reason. Jai Baba. Topic on obedience over.
Another thing that we want to share with you is that when Mani and Meera went to Pune this summer for a holiday, they were there. And once Rustam and I were sitting with Mani and talking with her. And she said that she, being Baba's sister, she had so many opportunities that she could have asked Baba on personal level so many questions. She could have asked anything, any question to Baba, being his sister, she could have asked that. But Mani said that it never came up to her to ask Baba anything. But she said that she was glad to have asked one question to Baba on a personal level. She asked Baba, what happens to your lovers after they die? Do they have to search you again? What happens to them? Do they have to come, searching all over again for you? Baba said, for my lovers, there is no going backward. There is no going backward, there is always going forward. And we will start off exactly where we have left off. So how fortunate we are. So at least for him, let us do whatever we can to please him. And the highest form of pleasing him is to obey him. Jai Baba. In any of our difficulties that we have, at times we say, even if Baba's physical presence is not there, but his presence is so strongly felt that whenever you ask for any help from him, he definitely answers our call. 100%. For Rustam and me, in 69 when Baba dropped his body, not only for Rustam and me, for the whole family, it came as a great shock. Because our life has been in association with Baba's physical form. We recognize him as God, but still the contact of the physical form all our lives. And when it just came, the Baba has dropped his body, shock. Everybody was in a state of shock. We missed that physical form. I will tell you a story in the sense that physical presence, though if it's not there, Baba's presence is still very strong in the sense how Baba helped us to me. Is that when Mani in 68 came to Pune for doing some dental work, my father Behran asked Mani that she should ask Baba whether Rustam and Saurabh should get married. And Mani said, Behran, Baba is in strict seclusion and he is absolutely, his health is very poor and it's not possible for me to ask now. And she went away. So once, when Mani was in Baba's room, Baba on his own all of a sudden asked, how are Rustam Saurabh? So Mani said, Baba, they are fine, they are your children. And Mani said that when Baba on his own asked about Rustam Saurabh, she took an opportunity of telling Baba what Behram had asked. She said, Baba, Behram was saying that whatever you decide is up to you to decide. They will obey as you say, whether Rustam and Saurabh should get married. And Mani, for some reason, she thought to herself that Baba would say no. And when she asked that to Baba, Baba said, very good, excellent. But Mani said, Baba, they have just started working, their salary is so low. How are they going to look after the family, the wife? Baba said, I will see to it. But not now after 3 years. So Rustam and I waited, of course, for 3 years. Baba dropped his body in 69. We waited for 3 years and we got married. But I knew my wife before marriage and Rustam knew his wife before marriage. Rustam's wife is from Bombay, my wife is from Pune. And they both were not Baba lovers. My wife, being born and brought up in Pune, never had her destiny. It was not in her destiny to have Baba's darshan. But today they love Baba probably a little bit more than Rustam and I do. And well, when we met them, we always felt if Baba would have been in physical form, how nice it would have been. If Baba would have seen the girls, would have approved of the girls. See, that attachment to the physical form was there. We always felt that if only Baba would have seen and approved of them, it would have been so wonderful. So one day my wife comes home to Baba house and tells me, Saurabh, I had a wonderful dream of Baba. And I said, Shahnaz, what did you dream? She says, I dreamt that I'm sleeping in my bedroom. Baba is standing in the door, smiles at me, comes to my bed, sits on my bed and kisses me on my head. And I'm thrilled. I said, Jai Baba, I said, this is a sign Baba has given that he's approved Shahnaz for me. And I'm very happy. I tell my mother, I tell father, I tell Rustam. And when I'm telling Rustam, I can see his face a little bit. Baba has not been any sign to him. His wife is in Bombay, his fiancé was in Bombay. So we both go to work, we work in the same place. And Rustam gets a phone call from Bombay. She said, Rustam, I'm Parveen. I'm so happy to tell you I saw a dream of Baba. When? He says, yesterday. What did you dream? She says, I dreamt that Baba is standing near the door, near the bedroom. I'm sleeping on the bed. And he comes to my bed, he sits on my bed, and kisses me on my hand. An identical dream she saw in Bombay, and Shahnaz saw the dream in Pune. And we said, yes, Baba, whether in physical presence or no, he is there. Whenever we wholeheartedly think of him and ask him for his guidance, he's there to guide. Definitely Baba helps you in any way. Even if there are no signs, now after that there are no more signs.
But now it is in the heart, it comes.
It comes.
Yes, Baba wants this.
Basically, for us, we are so fortunate to have Baba's love that when we have to decide something, if we just think of Baba and think very sincerely and honestly within our hearts whether this is right or wrong, we know the answer. The answer is there within you. Baba gives the answer. But then again, it's the mind that starts giving. But is it like that? No, but my thinking, no, if and why and what. That's how Baba helps. And also, I had a dream, I had a vision after Baba dropped his body in Baba house. We were not married. Just in the middle of the night, my eyes opened, as if I had not slept at all. Wide awake. Rustam was on the opposite bed. I saw him, he was snoring away. My father and mother were in the other bedroom. And my eyes went towards the main door. When I saw, I could not believe my eyes. First I thought that I was dreaming or gone crazy. And I looked, it was Baba's full form standing there near the door. And all of a sudden, I just saw Baba and could not, I'm looking at him. And he's standing this way. And he does twice to be like that. Waves out to me. His sadra is flowing in the air, pink coat, beautiful hair with a garland. And I could not believe it. And my body all of a sudden became like, it was heavy, 1 ton, 1,000 pounds. I couldn't lift myself. I became stiff. My voice wouldn't come out. I was trying to say, God, Baba, Jai. I wanted to wake up everybody up. It wouldn't come out. I'm looking at Rustam, he's snoring away. Baba's still standing there, looking at me. I put in all my effort, and I rolled down from the bed and I fall down. And I keep on shouting, within myself, and I crawl. I'm crawling on the ground, crawling very hard. And as soon as I go on to touch his leg, I find that there is nothing. And immediately my body became light, my voice came back, I said, Baba! Baba! My mother was a father. I told him, why didn't you wake me up? Why didn't you wake me up? Yeah, I mean, even, Baba's presence is so strong everywhere. You can feel Baba in everything. That when Baba would come to Guru Prasad, he would very often go to the Pune Zoo. And especially go and see the elephant Sumitra. Beautiful elephant. Baba would feed her loaves of bread, fruits. He would very often go with the Mandali. Rustam and I and Arvind Luck, when he came down to Pune, Baba had asked Rustam and me to take Arvind Luck for a ride on Sumitra. And Baba, without fail, 2 or 3 times in summer, he would go to Peshwa Park and feed Sumitra. And as soon as Baba would feed Sumitra, Sumitra in gratitude would pick up a trunk, salute, and salute Baba. Without fail. After Baba dropped his body, somehow or the other, Rustam and I never had the opportunity of going to the Peshwa Park. Sumitra just fizzled out of her mind. Just very recently, about a month and a half back, Bob Street from Ahmednagar came to Pune and he stayed with us and asked Rustam and me that he would like to see Sumitra. And when he said that Sumitra, all the memories of Baba came back. About Baba going to the zoo, feeding Sumitra. So I was very happy. I said, Bob, you hop on my scooter and let's go. And I took him to the zoo. Sumitra was there, tied to a pole. There's no cage or anything. She was just tied. She was eating a grass. And Bob Street and myself were standing in front of her and looking at her. And all the memories in my mind went back. Baba coming and feeding her, and she saluting Baba. And just all of a sudden in my heart, I said to myself, I should remind Sumitra that Baba loves her. So in front of, I just shout out loudly. Baba is standing next to me. I said, Sumitra, Sumitra. And she has a stare like that. I said, don't worry. Baba loves you very much. He's still with you. And instantly, believe it or not, and I said, Jai Baba. I said, Baba is here. And just after 3 weeks, she died. She died and she had a grand funeral. The band was playing, the mayor of Pune came and guarded her. There were special forklift trucks that lifted her up. It came in the headlines in the papers about Sumitra's funeral. And definitely Baba's given her.
She was the oldest elephant in Pune.
So Baba is everywhere, he's there, everywhere.
Pardon?
Yeah. There's a very funny story about Baidul. When the Maharani of Baroda, Shanta Devi, to whom Guru Prasad belonged, and she had given Guru Prasad for Baba's use, she was going to come for the first time to Guru Prasad to have Baba's darshan. And the man who would be outside doing guard duty during the daytime would be Baidul. And Baidul was a man who would always question anybody before they would come inside Guru Prasad. So Baba made it very clear to her. He clear to Baidul. Baidul, see, the Shanta Devi Maharani is coming and she will be first having an audience with me alone, while her secretary and everybody will be sitting outside. And when they are sitting outside, you should not make any inquiries or anything of that sort. Just be still. Baidul said, yes, Baba. The Maharani came, she had a private audience. Baba had Baba's darshan. The secretary was sitting next to Baidul. Then the others went and had Baba's darshan. And they all left.
Baba immediately called me. Did you ask anything to the secretary? No, Baba. I didn't ask anything. Nothing. No, I just asked the secretary his name, what his name was. What else did you ask? No, nothing, Baba. I just asked how many children the Maharani had. You asked that? Anything else? Yes, I asked her about how much estate she has and how many men are working for her. Blah, blah. And then what? How many cars she has. And what? And on and on he went. Baba said, you are the world's greatest fozul. The word fozul is inquisitive. You are the world's most inquisitive man. But you can imagine that this quality of his helped him to get must for Baba. He was the must hunter. So this quality of Baba had implanted that quality in him. Certain qualities Baba implants in this. Certain qualities. Tell them the story about Baba. Well, you see, he played the role of Baba, so he should tell it. He'll be able to tell it better. There once in Guru Prasad, there was a play being put up by the Pune Center, and it was a song play where all the avatar of the ages, the children, they come in front of Baba, do a certain scene of that avataric period, and go off from the stage. And Zoroaster came, Ram came, Krishna came, Buddha came, and Muhammad came. And everybody in the audience, the whole of Guru Prasad was jam-packed. Baba was sitting like this, and there was an empty chair kept next to Baba. For Baba to come as Baba, and I played the part of Baba. And Rustam played the part of Airaj. So people were very anxious, and Baba himself, was looking here and there, now what's going to happen? So when turn of Baba came to appear before Baba, I was dressed up in the white robe, mustache, scarf, and Rustam was dressed up as Airaj with the mustache. And I had a whole lot of children gathered round to shout Avatar Nirvape Ki Jai. And I entered the Guru Prasad Hall. And these kids, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. And I was holding Rustam's hand as Baba would hold Airaj's hand and walk with a slight limp and acknowledge the Avatar Nirvape Ki Jai. And again the children shouted Avatar Nirvape Ki Jai. And I sat next to Baba, and Baba was looking at me and he was laughing. He was laughing so hard. And then there was a bhajan being playing, and I went and gave darshan to the children, teach them, and they bowed down to their feet. And Baba was still laughing away. And then Baba would look at me and wipe his forehead like that, and I would look at Baba and wipe my forehead. And doing that, Baba kept on walking to a stage, to one point, that literally he could not control his laughter, so he takes a handkerchief and he so that no sound should come out. And of course, a year or two back, Mani gave a photograph of somebody had clicked a photo of Baba laughing that way. I have the photograph with me here, which I'll pass it on to you if anybody wants to see. So that was the happiest moment in Rustam and my life, when we really saw Baba laugh the most, was when I acted as Baba in front of Baba. There's another very funny story. A friend of ours wanted to take Saurabh and me for a vacation to Goa. And something happened, we couldn't go to Goa, so he said, we'll go to the coastal area, Gujarat coast. And there is a place called Daman, where we will go there. So we said, okay, we'll go there. But before this story, let me tell you that when we were small babies, my mother had taken Saurabh and me to a place called Udwada. Now this Udwada is also in Gujarat, and it is a place when the Zoroastrians first came from Iran to India. They had brought the fire of Zoroaster.
The original fire
of Zoroaster
is housed there.
And it is housed there in Udwada. So she had taken me and Saurabh as babies there. And after she was coming back from Udwada in the train, it seems that I and Saurabh were crying so much that she said, oh Baba, if they stop crying, I will bring them to Udwada again. And my mother says that after some time, Saurabh and I stopped crying. And years passed by, we grew up, and that thing just fizzled out. She just forgot about Saurabh and me going to Udwara. But then as we grew up, and then she would say, yeah, one day you have to go to Udwara. I have said that we'll take you to Udwara and all that. So, this, instead of going to Goa, our friends said that we'll go to a place called Daman, which is also on the Gujarat coast. So we went there with him for a holiday. And while we were coming back, he stopped, said we'll stay for overnight at this place. And it was quite dark. And it's a small, very small village, sort of a place. And then while we were just getting into the village, and I read on the signboard as Udwara. And as soon as I read that, instantly I and Saurabh just thought of it, that our mother had said that we'll have to come back to Udwara. So I said, no, she's old, so Saurabh and I should go and pay our respects to the fire. So I told my friend that next morning we want to go to the fire temple, and such is the thing. He said, okay, we'll go. So,
and the backdrop is that Rustam and I have never been to the fire temple many years, like 25, 20 years. We've never been to the fire temple.
No,
we do not know the Zoroastrian prayers or nothing, and we do not know the customs of what is there to be done in the fire temple, nothing of the sort.
But just because our mother had said that we will be going back there, we thought that we should go. So the next morning we got up, and then we said we'll go to the fire temple. So we went there, and first it was, we felt that, there were so many priests in big white robes and big pagdis like that, big hats with a big prayer book, and they were all surrounding the fire. And when we went to the fire was so beautiful. I felt,
Rustam and I both felt like Baba was sitting
there in the fire.
Huge silver urn.
A huge, very huge.
With such beautiful fire in there, you could actually feel Baba's presence, the Zoroastrian's presence, Ram's presence, everything as if it was there in the fire. Beautiful.
So we went there and we just stood there and we started repeating Baba's name in our hearts. But while we were doing that, these priests,
there were a row of priests around us, they were watching.
Why aren't they praying? If a Zoroastrian goes to that place, he has to pray.
And the only thing that we know about the Zoroastrian prayer was the rhythm and the sound in which they prayed, not the words. So I told Rustam, I said, Rustam, what are we going to do now? Rustam says, well, I said, let's do the universal prayer. Let's do Baba's prayer. But then we did Baba's prayer in Udwara, in the fire temple, with a difference.
Om
And the priest was so happy. Good boys.
And the priest was going to say, oh, and when we came back and told Mani Mehra, they had a big laugh about it. But they said
also be a reason
that it is Baba's reason for you to go there and say his prayers.
So Baba had planned that when we were babies.
We should go and say his prayers in Udwara.
In Pune there was an earthquake in 1965. Did I tell the story about the earthquake? No. It's a time, 5 minutes. In 65 there was an earthquake in Pune. Baba was in Merazad, sorry. And all of a sudden in the night, I was the first person to get up. And I knew that there was something going to happen. And immediately I told Rustam, I said, Rustam, there's an earthquake. Rustam said, are you going crazy? Go to sleep. Go to sleep. I said, no, Rustam, I'm 100% there's an earthquake. And within seconds, there was this deafening noise. Bum, 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 bum. Just horrible noise, And the ground started shaking.
The beds,
Baba started shaking. And all that we did was, Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai. There was a Christian friend of mine who was not a Baba, was sleeping in Baba. He said, "Oh my Jesus Christ, please help me." And outside in the compound in the mullah, the other people came out. Somebody said, "Ya Allah." Somebody said, "Oh Zoroaster." All different kinds of God's names and everything was coming up together. And I ran out to corridor to see my elder brother Sharia, who's sleeps out on the corridor there on his bed. And I saw Sheru sitting on the bed. I said, "Sheru, Sheru." I said, "Take Baba's name." He says, "Yeah, I'm going to do that. But first let me light my last cigarette." And he's putting his I said, "Say Jai Baba." He said, "Now Jai Baba." And after some time, the earthquake, the trembling stopped. The epicenter was about 150 miles away from Pune, but it was felt. The dam broke there, the Koina Dam. A lot of damage was done. A lot of people died. Buildings in Pune also collapsed. And then Mani told us that Baba was, even the tremors were felt in Mirazar. And when the tremors were being felt, Baba was in his bedroom, lying down. He got up from the bed, Mani says, stamped his foot that way. And instantly the tremor stopped. Jai Baba. There were floods too in Pune. And Baba was in Guru Prasad then, in 1961, 62. And there was no water supply in Pune after the floods. A lot of havoc had been created by the floods. Fields were destroyed and houses were destroyed. And there was no water supply. And there was this Baba's well in Baba house. And hundreds and thousands of people wanted to take water from Baba well. But Baba had before given instructions to us that nobody should drink the water from Baba's well. They could use for cleaning, washing, but not for drinking. But here the people were dying of thirst. So Behram went to Baba and told Baba that there is no water. Hundreds and thousands of people want to come in the house and drink the water. What can I do? You have given instructions not to. Baba said, "You go back, get me a glass of water from the well." So Behram came back on his cycle. He took water, gave it in the glass to Baba. Baba drank half the glass and said, "The balance half, you go and pour in the well first, and then let the people drink." So Behram came back, took the half a glass of water that was drunk by Baba, put in the well, and then the people were allowed to drink water. And hundreds and thousands of them for a month came and took waters from Baba's well.
They would even bring herds
The
of cattle.
buffaloes would come, cattle would come, and Baba's house was a total mess. The family didn't know where they were, and they were also drawing out water and giving people around. And after the water supply started releasing back. But the beauty of it is that the water in the well never went down an inch. It remained constantly high. And then the people, after the floods were off, they came to Baba's room, they garlanded the well, they did incense sticks. And now, every Thursday or once a month, they still come and they garland the well. Jai Baba. Jai about the Dhuni, we'll be going for the Dhuni now. The importance of Dhuni is that in Mehrabad, in Anandgaon village, there was no rains. There was a drought, severe drought, and Baba was there in Mehrabad, and all these Anandgaon villagers came to Baba and said, "Baba, that you should write the Dhuni and get rains for us." And Baba said that I do not perform miracles. But Baba said, "I will write the Dhuni, and if your faith and your love for God is true, then there will be rainfall." So Baba lit the Dhuni, and they all prayed, and there was rainfall.
Heavy rainfall.
Very heavy rainfall. And then Baba ordered Padri that every 12th of the month, the Dhuni should be lit. Which till today, in Mehrabad, it is being lit. So today also we will be going to light the Dhuni. And pray to Baba with all our hearts that at least today, here in the Sahavas, when the Dhuni is being lit, He should come and give us a special tap in our hearts. And we should love him more and more every day. But the most important thing is that the fire of Dhuni should be lit in our hearts every day. Let the Dhuni light up in our hearts every day. Jai Baba.
जय बाबा। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा